kind of fill in some of the gaps where, you know, where there's kind of like this in-between phrasing where there's that perfect hole for background vocals.
That whole part?
What have I learned from yesterday?
Okay. That's too tack, dude.
Seriously?
No, I'm kidding, dude. Come on.
Get in there.
What have I learned from yesterday?
It has like a somewhat of a gang vocal feel without being full gang vocal. I don't want it to be like a gang vocal, you know.
Oh, so he's following you.
Yeah, he's basically doubling me, but he's enough different that it sounds like somebody else.
What have I learned from yesterday?
And what's funny is my when I you know when I sing higher, it's a lot like what Matt's voice sounds like. So as much as I love the way it sounds in the studio, so many people can't figure out where he's sang on the record because our voices end up sounding somewhat similar. But he actually sang on both Meaning and Tragedy and Confined.
Steve
Russell's a sweet dude. I love that guy.
Steve Russell, working with that guy, I've heard so many stories when they recorded Frailwords Collapse. They love the guy, and you know, I was excited to get in there and meet him, but he wound up, you know, being pretty stern and to the point. I was ready to joke around and talk about his life and talk about my life with him, but it's directly to the point, which is super good. I'm glad he was.
Yeah, he did our last record, he did this record, you know, and it was cool to like, you know, go into the studio with like, you know, the same engineer, you know, you know, because you're already comfortable with him, you know him, you know, like, you know how he does things, you know, and he understands how you do things.
He has an amazing ear. He heard things that I didn't hear.
You're gonna be sharp. I'll strum it straight down. So however.
Yeah, Steve is a really cool dude. He's like really mellow. Like didn't get. He didn't have like a temper, and he didn't get like you know pissed off about things, which was sweet.
What you
The
can do.
only thing we'll leave is just the rhythm volume, and everything else will just be up.
No, what I would do, because you never use this one, these would be all the way up and then cut them, and then this one would be all the way down and then cut that,
Yeah.
and then this one will be free. So if he happens to flip his switch up, when he needs to flip the switch up, he could just cut the.
I mean, he took this job very, very personally, you know, and wasn't worried about this per hour thing. You know, I think most guys, engineers at least, that have been doing it for as long as Steve has, will just show up when they absolutely have to, you know, and they're, you know, looking at the clock all day. And Steve was pretty hungry to try new ideas.
You want someone with humor, like good attitude, you know, good spirit. It's definitely good to have a person like that in the studio with you.
This is quite possibly some of the most unprofessional audio gear you can possibly buy, but for getting our ideas down and just being quick, this was what we wrote almost the whole record on. I'd say 80% of our record was written up in this room right here. Actually, every song except for Through Struggle was written and first recorded on this piece of junk right here that they don't even make anymore. And then mixed very finely on these high-tech computer speakers. But you know, it was a very quick way to write, so that you know I could program the ideas I had, the basic ideas drum-wise. We could throw down some guitars on there and then burn a copy, run a practice, and show everybody, so that you know we didn't have to spend a whole bunch of time explaining how the song goes. We could just show them how the song goes. Yeah, this is where the next As I Dying record will first be heard, is here in a very poor format. The title, Shadows Are Security, comes from the concept, and later in the record, almost at the very end, there's a song called Control Is Dead, and it's about realizing, I mean, essentially that we're, you know, we're too weak to truthfully be in control of our lives. You know, we feel like we are so often, you know, but since we're such emotionally driven people, it's realizing how we're not in control that helps us get over, you know, our emotional state as people, and to actually, you know, like I was saying earlier, learn to live by commitment and sacrifice, and things that are more concrete.
Even though I didn't write the lyrics, I really do like talking about like what the album means, you know. And like the whole like love and sacrifice thing, like if you really love someone, there's definitely an amount of sacrifice that you will do for them, and that I think sometimes needs to be done, you know, because there's I think a lot of times people need proof that you're in love with them, you know, and that sacrifice definitely comes into play there, I think.
It's metal and it's energetic, but I think it's very like positive and like uplifting in a way, and that's why I'm so proud of it, because I feel like our music is very aggressive and like meaningful at the same time, you know. So I just hope that's something that people who listen to our music can take from it.
You know, shadows are things that are there for 1 minute and gone the next. You know, and it has to do with the fact that we find security in these meaningless things, these very fleeting, and just times of our lives that we feel like we've found something to grab onto, and then we turn around, and all of a sudden it's not there anymore.
To hear someone's perspective on a circumstance and to hear the way they've dealt with something or their feelings on a subject, it really makes me feel like I'm not as alone, or that there's something that's not just wrong with me, it's something that everybody deals with, or it's a concept that everybody can grasp.
The CD is about a transition. You know, when I'm searching for that meaning, what is worth, investing my life into, and to realize it's not this emotional love that I'll feel for a moment, but it's something greater that I'll be able to feel, for a lifetime, and essentially throughout eternity. Like the song "Through Struggle," of being about halfway through the record, I think really represents. It's only through that kind of struggle that we're able to get to the next level and to really actually enjoy life on a deeper level.
Behind the struggle, have I found rest with a piece of me taken away? I begin to understand. This machine like juice. And it's yes, the touch to make me feel as evil thoughts that face the way. Behind the struggle, have I found rest? Behind the struggle, have I found rest from me? This deception that I can't live, that I can't live.